Today, we're going to do an exercise demo of one of my personal favorite exercises, and it's one of the most beneficial exercises that we use for our athletes that need lateral explosion, moving quickly to the side. Volleyball, baseball, softball, all of those have a lateral component that means get quick, be quick, moving across, okay? So it's more of that first step explosion. Like think about stealing a base or moving laterally to make a play in volleyball, working to the outside of the court, okay? So it's called lateral explode is what we shorten it down to. The full name would be like lateral side lunge or just regular side lunge explode. You can add a BOSU. You can add a dumbbell. You technically can add a kettlebell if you're comfortable holding a kettlebell like so. You could use a medicine ball holding it bear hug style. Barbell throws your weight off a little bit because if you're here, you kind of get that little side lean as you do it. So we're not a huge fan of using with barbell. If you're strong enough to do it, we're not saying you can't. It's just we find that when we lean into the dumbbell with it moving this way, and I'm going into the dumbbell, we find that we're very well balanced. You can do it opposite, going this way, holding the dumbbell, and I'll demonstrate both, but you'll see what I mean. So without further ado, let's get into the exercise. It's great for your quickness, first step explosion especially, balance, which I'll show you the balance challenge as well, and then leg strength as well, which is very important. If you think about a baseball pitcher needing that lateral push, okay, very important. Also, softball to some degree, though, it's a little bit more straightforward with the pitcher, but like a third baseman who needs a strong throw across the infield, that trail leg if you're right-handed, that trail leg if you're left-handed is important. So let's get started. All right, so we have a BOSU set up inside of the squat rack, okay? The only thing that you need to worry about with a BOSU is does your floor provide enough friction so the BOSU doesn't slide, okay? So this rubber surface that we have is very good and it doesn't slide. If we're on carpet or if you're on a hard court, like a basketball or volleyball court surface, it might slide, so you gotta be careful. We're going to tell you right now, be careful and kind of push the BOSU first to test whether or not it'll slide on you, okay? You don't have to have the BOSU. For those of you athletes who are training at home and are part of our online clients, when we do this, you'll notice we don't have to use the BOSU as well. You can just step laterally, and you've all been fine doing it that way. So, for those of you who are not familiar, let's just say I'm going to step laterally. Now, in a traditional side lunge, it's more about moving this way, and you're really just kind of trying to stretch the trail leg and you come. What we want to focus on is planting our weight onto this leg, the front leg, and then as we raise up, we explode off of this leg and stop. The stop of this part where we raise up is the balance challenge. If you're not ready for that, you can just come here, step and explode and step in. So we go slow and then explode back. So slow, explode back. We are trying to load the leg as much as we possibly can, meaning slow, get low. It's okay if you can just get right here. Notice how I'm loaded on this, almost all my weight's on that leg. And then as I push off, I'm getting that explosion. So the lower I can get and explode, I'm getting a greater range of motion, which means I'm truly recruiting a little bit more musculature, getting that added benefit. If I wanted to add the dumbbell, I can lean into it. This is where I said same side lean. Or I can go opposite, okay? If I want to work more on the explosion, I would want it on this side. If I wanted to work more on balance, I would have it on this, because as I get low and explode, now this weight right here, and as I raise this up, I tend to want to lean into it. So let me demonstrate that real quick. Boom, explode, balance. See how I want to kind of continue to fall? Whereas with this way, loaded, weighted, explode, this weight over this leg tends to rebalance me better. And that's what we want to do. You want to master as many exercises as you can, but you really want to focus on a few exercises and variabilize those. And what we've done here is, by holding it on one side, we're learning the skill of that. By holding it on the other, we're learning on the skill of all of this as well, which is mastering one exercise in its movement and then variabilizing it so that your athlete continues to progress. Don't show them 12,000 exercises and expect them to get great at them all. Show them 3 to 5, maybe 7. Let that be a major part of their program. And from there, give small little tweaks to those exercises, and they're going to exponentially increase with that progression that we're hoping for by programming for improved sports performance. Remember, they're not bodybuilders. They're athletes trying to improve their sport. Okay, so now we're going to add a little bit more balance challenge and a little bit more explosion by planting onto the Bosu. Secondarily, with the Bosu, you'll notice the Bosu has rings. I would not advise you to step higher than the third ring, so 1, 2, 3. Never step higher than that third ring for safety, because if you get too high, you're going to get too much push into the Bosu, and now I'm at exposure for rolling my ankle. We want to actually push into the bottom portion of the Bosu. Now there's really no way that I can push into the Bosu and roll my ankle, okay? So let's just demonstrate without the dumbbell first. So let's just say I'm hands-free, lean in, and explode. Now if I want to add a little bit more balance challenge off of the first two, I would come and raise this up like that. How high you raise this will determine more of a balance challenge or less of a balance challenge. Because it's here, I'm naturally a little bit more centered versus here because of my momentum, which is taking me away from. I have to fight that momentum, which does help you increase or develop balance skills. Okay? So that's without the dumbbell. Now, picking up a dumbbell, I simply step in and explode. Step in and explode. Okay? Now, I highly suggest, until they've mastered it, watching their foot hit the Bosu, because that gives you the visual learning pattern that we want. Same reason you watch the ball into your hand, you have to master that skill. So now, the other side, okay? And I'm trying to push off with as much force and power as possible. Now remember, obviously you're going to work both sides, so I would turn and face the other way, which I'll show you just one rep real quick, what that looks like. So I'm here, let's say I'm holding it on the outside for more balance momentum challenge. Here, plant, explode. Explode, okay? All the same variables are in play, you're just turning around. Whether you're using the Bosu or not, whether you're ready to add the weight or not, all those components still are based under the same umbrella of the same exercise that you can variabilize, I might have made that word up, but will help your athletes to continue their progression without having to worry about too many different exercises, because you generally choose exercise selection based on what the sport requires, and that's what we do with our in-person clients and our online clients, is minimize the overall amount of exercises they're forced to learn or required to learn and master, and give small manipulations to those core exercises so that makes them focus more on getting great, getting powerful, becoming more athletic, and not necessarily learning new skills. Case in point, think about throwing with your right hand, let's say your dominant hand, and or then learning to throw with your left. It's a completely new skill set. You might be very good with this hand, completely new skill set, okay? Don't require too many skills in your performance training because it's not necessarily what performance training is all about. Performance training is about getting better at the skill of their performance. All right? So that's all we have today. One of our favorite exercises, lateral, side, explode. I know lateral and side are redundant, but it just helps to understand what we're going for. Okay? First step, quickness, powerful athlete, balanced athlete, learning to control our body movement. All right, thank you. I'm Spencer Aiken, Stronger Together Performance Academy. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. As usual, we are available for online training, whether it's one-on-one, small group, or with your whole team. We'd love to help you out. All right, you guys go out, be awesome. Thank you.